Alright everybody, this is a engine air filter removal and install on the 2021 CB1000R. It's pretty simple. You only need a few tools. You need a 3mm hex bit, a 5mm hex bit, and a Phillips screwdriver. Alright, so first things first, I already took everything off, but you're going to start with taking off these aluminum covers on both sides of the bike. You have 2 bolts here. Those are 3mm hex bits. Okay, you give it a little tug. It's got that snap tape on it. All right, remove that. Next, you're going to remove these intake covers. Okay, you have one top bolt, which is the 5mm hex bit, and then on the bottom over here you have the Phillips screwdriver. Alright, so you're going to do that on both sides of the bike again, and you kind of need a longer Phillips to kind of reach in there. Alright, next you are going to remove this bolt here, which is a 5mm, and this one here, which is another 5mm. Okay, that's what's holding the air filter housing onto the motorcycle, right? And that's on both sides of the bike. All right, you got 2 bolts on each side, both 5mm. Okay, before pulling that whole unit off, you're gonna want to take these little intake tubes off. Okay, on both sides of the bike, you see these little nipples here. Okay, there's a little rubber piece that snaps onto there. You could just lift the rubber off and then just lightly jiggle this out. It'll come out. All right, again, both sides of the bike. That's pretty much it. And then here comes the tugging. Okay, so you want to kind of work this bottom of the box like this, right? You could do it like that, side to side. You kind of jiggle it. It will come down. You have to pay attention to these 2 little hooks going towards the front of the bike. You'll see they latch into the holes on the housing. All right, so once you get past that, you sweep it back a little bit and down, then you just got to jiggle it out. I did take it off on the kickstand side. It seemed to be easier. The other side, the clutch cable's in the way. I didn't want to touch that. But you got to keep in mind, you have this harness here that kind of doesn't give you wiggle room, so maybe you can manipulate it, move it around. Same thing goes on the other side. There's about 2 or 3 wires that you can move out of the way that could give you a little bit more wiggle room. After all that's said and done, nice and patiently, you're just gonna wiggle it out this way, and then we're gonna go to basically the new filter, okay, and your old filter. All right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Phillips heads. Okay, so we're gonna unzip those. I believe there's a rubber gasket that you need to reuse that goes around the perimeter of the air filter. All right, once that you get that swapped over, you put this back in and you reinstall everything else the same way you took it off. All right, okay, real quickly, this is the old filter, about 15,000 miles. This is the new one. Like I said, there was a little gasket around the perimeter of the filter. I just pulled it out with a little pick. It's like about a foam gasket. All right, so I pulled it out and I installed it on the new one. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's in there. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, you could clean this out if you want. There's a little bit of dust in there, nothing too crazy. And then we're just going to reinstall it. All right, so just like that. It's exactly how it was, and that's how it's going back. Perfect fit. All right, I did cheap out. That's not an OEM filter, that is an aftermarket filter. Okay, I think I spent $25 on it. All right, Amazon. We'll see how it performs. It does have the OEM part number on it, which I feel like is very kind of weird. 17210MKG00. Alright, it's obviously not the same filter, but it looks pretty damn close other than the grill. Alright.